Hey guys, Mr. Gran, 9.2 piecewise functions. So one learning target today, we can evaluate piecewise functions for a given value. So essentially we're just plugging in numbers is what we're doing today on a particular type of function. All right, so what is a piecewise function? It is a multiple functions broken into parts or pieces. So if you look at this, I actually have three different equations that make up this function. And those parts are dependent on the x values. What that means is, depending on what the x value is, depending on the value, the equation that I use is going to depend on the x value. And that's what these inequalities or this equation in the middle here means. So there's two parts to this. The first part has to do with these. This is going to tell you, this tells which equation to use. Right? Which equation are you going to plug it into? So if x is less than 2, if x were -4, for instance, I would say, okay, if x is -4, it's less than 2, I'm going to plug it into this one. If x equals 2, I'm going to use this equation, and if x is greater than 2, and less than or equal to 6, I'm going to use this equation. So you're just using one of these, and this is going to tell you which one you should use. All right, so let's take a look at the example. All right, so oftentimes these are split up into 3, just because 3 is more complicated than 2, but not as complicated as 4. So it's kind of a nice middle, just complicated enough, kind of the Goldilocks zone of piecewise functions. Okay, so we want to evaluate the function at these 4 values. So for f equals -4, or f of -4, that means x equals -4, right? That's the x value. So first thing I'm going to do is look to my inequalities and determine which one does x fit into. X is -4. -4 is less than -1, so I'm going to use this top one. -4 is not between -1 and 2, so it's not that. It's not greater than 2, so it can't be that one. So it's not this, it's not this, it's this one. So when I evaluate this, f of -4 is going to be -4 plus 2. I'm just plugging in -4 for x, and that equals -2. All right, for f of 0, which inequality does it fit into? 0 is not less than -1. 0 is between -1 and 2, so it fits into this inequality. 0 is not greater than 2, so it's not that one. It's not the top one, it's not the bottom one, it's the middle one. So for f of 0, where x is equal to 0, f of 0 is going to be 0 squared, which is 0. That's a lot of circles. All right, next one, f of 2. So again, x is equal to 2. Which one of these am I going to plug it into? 2 is not less than -1, so it's not going to be the top one. 2 is equal to 2, right? So it actually fits into here because this is where x is less than or equal to 2. So it's this guy. X is not greater than 2. 2 is not greater than 2, so it's not that one, right? So we're plugging into the middle again. So this one is going to be 2 squared, which is 4. All right, and our last one, 8. Now this is the one it's almost too simple, and that's where we make a mistake, is we think that it's more complicated than it is, and let's see why. All right, so x is equal to 8. Let's see, 8 is not less than -1, so it can't be that one. 8 is not between -1 and 2, so it can't be that one. 8 is greater than 2, so it's this one. Now, we're choosing this equation. This is an equation. It's just a number, but it is also an equation. I can't plug anything into it though. Whatever x is over here that satisfies this, the answer is just 3. So when you have that, yeah, there's no x there. That just means that the answer is whatever this number is. So that's how that one works. All right. So I think that is it for this one. Email with questions if you've got. It's kind of a shorter lesson today, so hopefully we can use that as a little bit of catch-up if we need.